Alright, so we're here in El Centro, but I just want to chat about single versus relationship. Now, obviously, Shay's just got a relationship, but I mean, guys, I've been single for probably over a year and a half now, and a few reasons. There's benefits of both sides. It really depends on what you want, you know? There's no right or wrong. Single is when you're gonna build and work on yourself. You should never stop that. I've seen mates that they get in a relationship, they end up fat, they look like dog shit after. I didn't want to be that example, and that's why I always work on myself during and after relationship, because a woman's gonna be attracted to you for who you are when you enter that relationship. But a lot of guys make the mistake of getting comfortable, of getting overweight, you know, being comfortable in just all areas, not improving on themselves. So when they finish a relationship, they have no self-worth, and they end up just subscribing to depressed and all these things, right? Because they just didn't work on themselves.
Compound growth in the negative.
Exactly. And I mean, share your thoughts on that, Shay. What's your experience on that?
Yeah, so there's two paths. It's binary. It's either growth or decline. And the further down that rabbit hole you are, in terms of like the more overweight you are, the more broke you are, all those types of things, the harder it is for you to see growth, and the harder it's probably going to be for you to progress, because you're going to see yourself all the way down here, look up at the top of the mountain and be like, fuck, this is a long journey. But if it's not that steep of a difference, like you weren't that far down the spiral when you end the relationship, there's not far for you to go to actually be able to progress and get the results that you want.
Yeah.
And you're more likely to actually follow through on the plans you want to get done. When you see there's such a big step, well, fuck, how long is this actually going to take? It was seen out of reach. And a lot of people would just go to the negative path and not actually take the steps. But for me, I didn't veer that far apart. I definitely fell off in some areas, but now we're on a good path. The path doesn't matter.
So what's your advice to someone if they're in a relationship? Should they stop working on themselves, wait till they finish, or what's the go?
It should be a continual process, because otherwise there'll be a loss of attraction. Like the person she got together with will not be the person she's together with 5 years, 7 years down the line. Yeah. So if you fall off and you start working on yourself, then there's probably going to be a loss of sexual attraction between one another if you do fall off.
And that's the thing, guys. Like, you have to have your partner on their toes, right? You got to still fucking look good, because if you're not getting attention from other women as a man, and you let yourself go, well, then she's gonna think, fuck, you know, he's not a valuable asset. Like, they'd rather just go with someone else that's valuable. You have to utilize work on yourself to keep them on their toes, because if they even consider leaving for another guy, they know that you get attention from other places. So it's like, you have to keep them on their toes. There has to be a need. It's not in a negative way. It's not to be, you know, just kind of influencing women in the wrong way, but that's how it needs to be. They need to look and admire the man that you are, your habits, that you work on yourself, you sacrifice. They don't want a man that can't take care of themselves in financially, or makes excuses. Like, you got to understand, you're going to be the one that they're going to choose to have kids with. So they're going to look at how you are with kids and how you're the example or not the example. So I've seen too many guys just get comfortable when they have kids, or and like, speak on that. What have you learned from that experience?
Well, I'm not going to go too into much detail, but a lot of what happened and the reason for the breakup, it was,
speak a bit loud for the camera.
It was my fault.
Because
I fell off, I got comfortable in certain areas, and because of that, it created stress on her side, and because of the stress, it led to a bit of tension, maybe a little bit of disagreements, a bit of arguments, which overall created the situation I'm currently in. I mean, we still went about it respectfully and maturely. It wasn't toxic or anything like that. But the situation came about because I got comfortable in certain areas, and then she began to question, like, is this the winning horse type thing? The thing was that she had always had that level of belief, but we've been together for 7 years, and she had seen growth like this up, down, up, down, up, down. And now she's getting to an age where things typically start getting more serious.
Yeah.
Like we're both, I was 24, she was 25. And she started having those questions like, you know, I'm thinking about marriage, I'm thinking about kids, all those different types of things.
Yeah.
And because I've been up and down and getting comfortable in certain areas, in her opinion, she was unsure whether I was going to be someone who was going to create security when kids do come into the picture.
Yeah.
Which I fully understand. I'm not going to have to play the victim. I use it as an opportunity, unlimited fuel to moving forward. And the person I'm going to be in 1 year, 2 years, completely different. And that's why I came halfway across the world to live with Jacob. Because I wanted to put myself in an uncomfortable situation where I had no plan B. Like, he's the only person I know here. And at the moment, my current level of income, most people definitely would have not left their town and did what I did and put themselves in a situation. But that's why they'll keep getting the results they're getting.
Hell yeah. That's it, guys. As a man, you have to be the rock of the family. You got to be responsible. You got to be the best example. It isn't about just you. A lot of these dads, a lot of these guys that are in relationships, have no kids, they get fucking comfortable, fat, overweight. They think that's normal, it's okay. It's not fucking okay. You're the example. You want your daughter to bring home someone that's fat, that's not responsible, that's broke. If not, then fucking change it, because you're telling indirectly your kids that that's okay for them to be that or bring that home, and that's not okay.
You can have anything you want. You can have anything you want. Oh, Dad, why don't you have what you want? Because they see what you're doing. They see the results that you have, not what you're preaching. And that's why they don't buy the bullshit when you're saying do X, do Y. And they look at you and they're like, why aren't you doing that?
Yeah, if you're trying to talk about discipline and you're fucking fat, it's just saying it's a disconnect. You can't really do that. You shouldn't do that. Because I'm gonna ask you, okay, so if I listen to you, am I gonna have the results in life that you have? Simple as that. So be better examples, because guys, we are the ones that fucking change the future. The kids in the future, they're gonna look at us and they're gonna follow how we live, who we are, what we do, not what we say. So if you want the world to be a better place, you want your kids to be better examples, and your daughter to bring home better men and a higher standard, you have to set that standard. You're the head of the family, so don't let them down.